And there we go. Hey, I am Sherry Denny, and I would just love to introduce you to this wonderful lady that I met a couple of years ago. But first of all, I want to let you know I am a corporate director with APLGO, and I'm coming to you from a very snowy and cold Alaska tonight. I don't know where you are, but I hope you're warm and toasty in your room. And I want to welcome each and every one of you to this webinar. And I'm so excited to be here and share with you this incredible person that gives her time up for us. So it's just valuable time that she has, and she's willing to talk to us and help us with any questions that we may have. And we get to have her tonight. She's going to talk to us about our DNA rapid drops, and that's Mary Esther Gilbert. But you know what? I want to introduce her really well tonight. I've known her for a couple of years now, and I got to tell you, this lady is phenomenal. Her line of degrees include the highest of Master of Science, a Bachelor of Science, NSP, and many more accolades to her decades of research in her field of cellular nutrition and holistic health. I mean, this is a mouthful here. Also, as a nutritional physiologist, sports nutritionist, I got to get that word out, and consultant with over 40 years of experience researching and formulating evidence-based, that's so important, evidence-based nutritional health improvement protocols. You know, she's taught countless clients, students, audiences, and readers around the world about fundamental necessity of preventing disease and maintaining optimal health throughout biologically correct cellular nourishment. Another big mouthful, but this gal puts it all together. And Miss Gilbert has authored and published several books, including The True Health Mastery, Transform Your Health, Change the World. And the newest, you know what, I got it sitting right here with me, Potent Superfoods for lifelong true health, you know, which I carry it with me every time I go do an event because there's always something to look up in there. And she's also the founder and CEO of the online True Health Master Academy. By the way, I'll bet you didn't know this about Mary Esther Gilbert. She holds a black belt. I hope I'm not embarrassing you here, Mary Esther, but I'm so proud of you. She holds a black belt under the Grandmaster Andre Marquis, the third school of the 9 dragons in the original mixed martial art of Kajukenbo. I hope I said that right. Kajukenbo, founded in Oahu, Hawaii. You have been around, Mary Esther, and she's also is a fabulous fitness trainer. I can go on and on and on. This was back in the 1980s, and because of her consistent weight training through the years, she has successfully maintained her muscle strength, bone density, cartilage, and joints, even now through her 60s. I mean, she looks absolutely fabulous. So let me ask you, Mary Esther, is there anything else you would like to add to this wonderful list before we get on with this interview?
Oh my goodness, Sherry. Yeah, you know, it just tells you how old I am. When you live a long time and you do a lot of stuff, it sounds really great, you know, when you just rattle it all off like that. But thank you for that. So I just am proud of the fact that I think I take after my grandfather. He was a medical doctor here in Arizona, and he met up with some Native American tribes, and they taught him all about the indigenous plants. And so he started applying them in his practice, and he was able to help his patients improve their health by the use of the plant. So he was kind of a mixture, you know, of Western medicine and indigenous medicines. So I think I kind of caught that gene because I do have that kind of passion for these wonderful botanicals that are on this planet.
Well, that's wonderful. And you know, reading the beginning of your book, I'm looking at this going, oh yeah, she's done that. Oh my gosh, is there anything you haven't done? So
well, I do have a bucket list.
Okay, well, I just want to welcome everybody that's on here. And again, we're just really happy to have you here. We will be talking about, are you guys ready for this? Power for Men Lemon. Are you ready for this, Mary Esther?
Oh, yes, always
Okay,
ready.
you always are. I've got, first thing we want to let people know, this is a drop that is known to be for men's health. And I believe there's 7 botanicals in the proprietary blend of that. And I'm sure you're going to be going through all those, just 7. And it does everything that it says that it does. So there's a few questions people ask when this product is mentioned. And how about, let's start off with the energy and vitality. Would you explain a little bit about that and what ingredients might be behind that energy and the benefits of those ingredients?
So plants contain a wide array of plant chemicals. So this is their body fluids. And within these fluids are contained all these nutrients, that they take up through the soil, that they transform into vitamins from the sunlight. And so and also they just form through their own DNA instructions, start forming their own phytochemical compounds that have been found to be so health beneficial. So when I go over the ingredients tonight, I'm going to go over also a couple of scientific research studies just to show the extent to which I have researched these botanicals. So anything I say tonight is really the result of extensive nutritional research, scientific study. So I just wanted to show our people tonight what those studies look like and to the extent to which the scientists all over the world have been going through these rigorous, research studies to come up with the conclusions that I'll be presenting tonight.
Oh,
and also,
wonderful.
Sherry, if I could read a couple of paragraphs, we have had meetings lately, and I feel like it's important for us to make this disclaimer. If I may read that to everyone tonight, if that's okay.
Yes, I was hoping you would do that. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right, here we go. The statements made in this video have not been evaluated by the United States Food and Drug Administration. The products discussed in this video are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Statements made in this video are the result of knowledge accumulated over many years on common factual data presented in college-level textbooks about human nutritional physiology. Statements made in this video are also the result of the gathering of legitimate scientific research and evidence-based information taken from years of peer-reviewed studies conducted at the university level around the world. Such research on the beneficial properties of functional foods and many other useful botanicals are found in thousands of peer-reviewed scientific journals and databases at the National Institutes of Health, PubMed, and private colleges such as the Linus Pauling Institute and many others. So that is our short disclaimer.
Thank you so much for throwing that in there. We need to have that. We want to be absolutely compliant so we can get this video out to as many people that can use it as a tool like we do in our Rapid Funnel app. So are you ready for another question?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Power for Men has been known to really help with the obvious one, men's libido, right? Would you expand on that? Because it is always the first question that's asked of me when I bring this this one drop up. Would you expand on that and what ingredients help with that benefit in that way?
Okay, so let's take the ashwagandha root. So research has shown that it does improve the hormonal balances. The body produces 10,000 or more hormones every day. So it's not just about reproductive hormones or libido or anything like that. It has to do with the regulating hormones that help the nervous system and the immune system start and stop all these literally trillions of biochemical processes that go on in the body every single moment, not just every single day, but every single moment of our lives. Okay, so the body's always searching for the molecules it needs to do its very intricate and complex, biochemical work. So the ashwagandha root, if I just, I'm looking at my my book here. And do you want me to share the screen so that people see what I'm seeing? I think it might make it a little more interesting.
That would be great. I think you can. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead and share screen here. It says host disabled participant screen sharing. Can you give me permission?
One second. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay, so let me go ahead and enlarge that a bit here. It should be a lot better. Okay, so here's the ashwagandha root, and I'm taking this off my manuscript from the book that you held up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually this is the original book, but the book that you're holding up is actually pretty much the same, except it doesn't have the names of the products in it. And that's a whole nother story, but there is a video where I explain that on my YouTube channel. So anyhow, the ashwagandha root, now this is just a summary of the accumulation of the scientific research study that I examined. As you can see down here at the bottom, a group of scientists led by, I believe it's a Mr. Singh, actually did the review of all of the different types of studies that have been found on the ashwagandha root. So throughout the world over time, many scientists have examined the ashwagandha root and came to certain conclusions. So this panel, what's called a peer-reviewed study, reviews the legitimate studies. They weed out the ones that they consider not as legitimate or just in passing, so they try to gather as many of these legitimate studies together in one report. So that's how I did my research on these botanicals, just so people know that they are very solidly backed by science. So anything that appears to be any kind of assertion or claims about anything, it's certainly not about the products, because those have not been tested scientifically. So this is just the plant materials that have been used that happen to be in the products. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the ashwagandha root, it's been used it dates back to 6000 BC, and so of course they're going to report the historical use of these plants. But according to Singh et al., this group of researchers and reviewers found that with the cumulative studies, this is what they found. So I'm just going to go over it very briefly because I want to make sure we have enough time to cover each ingredient. There's not very many ingredients in this particular one. Okay,
Right.
so these plants, this particular plant has been found to increase the body's resistance to infections and strengthen the immune system. So many botanicals contain the biochemical compounds that aid the immune system that way. And also it's noted in many studies for increasing sperm count due to the phytosterol content. Phytosterols are just a classification of a wide variety of compounds that are precursors to all the hormones that the body makes. It's also an adaptogenic and zeolytic, meaning it helps stabilize the body's physiological processes, promoting homeostasis and all the biochemicals that the body does to maintain its equilibrium and balance. So when it gets out of balance, it does its best to bring it back into the correct balance. So it's good for stress, and it has a lot of compounds that help the nervous system, nourish it and help the nerve cells function properly, the neurons firing correctly, even response to stress. Also has been found to have pain relieving properties, anti-inflammatory, so it's been tested against arthritis, and it has antiseptic properties. It improves energy level by boosting this functioning of the cell mitochondria, which is the energy producing factories inside the cells. And in the drops, we happen to have the mitochondria, the energy producing factories from the botanicals as well, and all the other plant cell components, the ones that manufacture the fatty acids and the enzymes and repurpose, molecules for various needs that the plant might have. And our human cells do exactly the same thing. So we're very, very similar to plants in that way. It's been tested under strained physical effort conditions and helps reduce the lactic acid buildup, that muscle soreness that people get after they exercise. So gastric ulcers. I mean, it has all sorts of anti-tumor properties as well. Now, these are very extensive laboratory, both laboratory and in human and animal subjects in these kinds of studies that have been done on this particular plant. And also, I mean, it's not just for men. You know, these formulations aren't specific for men or women, but they have been tested, you know, in these test subjects. So I suppose that's why it was selected to be included in this formulation. Whoever did the research for putting together these formulations, they really did this kind of research, you can tell, because when I went into the research, I saw that it does indeed, you know, fit the needs of both men and women, really. But in this case, there are, you know, probably tests that have been done for men, and I would imagine that's probably why it's a Power Lemon. It used to be called Power Man, but now it's called Power Lemon. I think that's a better way to refer to the Power formulations.
Yeah, can I
So
interrupt
anyway,
here for just a second?
oh,
The,
yes, absolutely.
the fact that you said, because I'd heard you say this once before, that it's for men and women, and we should be calling it Power Lemon instead of just Power Men and Power Women. But the fact that it is designed for also to help women, can you expand on that just a little bit more? Because now that you said that, last time I heard this a couple months ago, I've been taking it about once or twice a week now. I don't know if there's a difference there, but if I'm supposed to be taking something like that, I do want to know more about it. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of women on here that would like to know the same. And the men on here, aren't you just amazed at what you're hearing so far?
I hope so. Well, okay, so men and women need the plant sterols because we, in our genetic codes of instructions, know which hormones to produce. We just need the right molecules to help that process along and balance things according to our gender. So, you know, if a woman takes in a plant chemical like, or the ashwagandha root, for instance, then our bodies will utilize those plant sterols to manufacture the hormones that are you know, just specific to our gender. And it doesn't have to all be specific to our gender because we have various, like I said, you know, 10,000 hormones that the body uses to regulate, to start and stop biological processes, to work with the communication system of the nervous system and the brain, and also to work with the immune system, you know, so they all work together along with many countless protein molecules. There's various types of protein molecules. Some are anti-inflammatory molecules, some are inflammatory response molecules, some are messenger molecules. So they carry information from one part of the body to another. And this is all done at the micro level. So it's really quite fascinating how our body just knows what to do. And if we nourish it properly, then our DNA stays intact and the genetic instructions stay intact. And so therefore they're working and communicating properly.
There's just so much information. I really appreciate you expanding.
It's not overkill, you know. I know.
No, and what's so nice about this is, you know, we're recording it and people can go back and listen to it. Believe me, I have replayed so many of your videos just to get, did I really hear that? Yes, I really heard that. So it's all very informative. Do you mind if I ask another question?
Please do.
Okay, so this product is also known for prostate health for men. And I think you mentioned that just a little bit there. What are the ingredients specifically that help in that area?
Well, let's do a search. Start from the Power Lemon here. I'm just going to do a simple search and that'll pull up anything having to do with that. I don't recall that saying anything about prostate, but let's just, oops, what did I do? What did I do? I don't know what I did. What happened here? It's doing something. It didn't like whatever I did. Oh, okay, it brought me
There we
back.
go.
Very good. Boy, that was close. Okay, so yeah, let's just do I'm going to actually, you know, I can't do that because I am on Zoom. Hello. Let me go back to my document. Let me go back to my document. Well, I am on my document. What am I saying? So, yeah, for some reason it doesn't let me access it in the normal way, but that's okay. I'll go back to it. Section 4. Yeah, I'll just have to do the scrolling thing.
Well,
I think it's because you need to hit cancel over on the left.
Cancel. Ah,
Now maybe.
there we go.
okay, let's try that. I don't see my cursor, but that's a PDF file, so maybe that's why. Oh, here we go. There it is. So I'll go prostate. And it looks like it's counting up here. You see that? It brings it up quite a bit. Oh, here's one, prostate cancer. I'm not sure if it's the,
Well, not so
right.
much prostate cancer itself, but just for the prostate, helping for prostate health itself with men. The ingredients in it, using the ginseng root, ashwagandha. I can't even
Yes.
pronounce this one, but
the
leaf.
Damiana.
Damiana, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
That's
Ginger
okay.
root. Yeah.
It takes a while to get to know.
Woo.
So, okay, so I did notice in our search that on this, the first time it picked one up on page 20, and it was not in this particular formulation. It was in the Relax, I believe. Let's see if that's the
Oh.
Relax. Yeah, so, they're scattered throughout the different formulations. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be in something that we refer to as just a man's formulation, because that's not doing these plants justice, considering the huge array of compounds that are in them and the many, many functions they perform in the body. Like I said, they assist the hormonal system, and that includes the gender hormones and the reproductive hormones and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it just, it's not going to be specific to any one formulation necessarily, but I'm glad they threw that in, because when the Relax formulation happens to be another one that calms the nervous system without sedation, just nourishment, to make sure it's functioning properly. Hormones are involved in just about every single bodily process, since they're the regulating, molecules in the body kind of thing. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, because really, when you look at a diet as well, you're going to, I think this is our formulation here. You're going to balance your hormones just through the diet, the fatty acids, the whole food fats, the healthy fats, both plant fats balanced with animal derived fats. Those are both very important for forming precursors to forming all the hormones the body needs. Going out in the sunshine and developing, having the body form vitamin D3 from the sunlight is a biochemical reaction that our bodies can do. And that's also an array of, precursors for a whole bunch of different hormones the body makes. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of these plant compounds happen to have the plant sterols. And so those, again, are precursors for many, many hormones that we have to make. So, as long as both men and women are eating properly, a healthful diet and exercise, that also helps the body produce what's called growth hormone. That's also referred to as the youth hormone. And so when we train with weights, any weight resistance exercise stimulates the production of this hormone that allows your body to maintain a leaner muscle mass and have better endurance. And, so it's just a whole chain reaction. They all has to work together, which is why I call my food system that I developed nutritional synergy. There is a definite synergy when you combine all of the known essential nutrients the body requires to function optimally.
Wow, you have so much information, and I hope all of you are taking notes or ready for a replay. This is just fabulous. One of the other things that has been asked of me before with the Power for Men, and I'm not sure which ingredients this would be pointing toward, is the urinary tract. Did you said a little bit about that in the beginning when you're talking about all the ingredients. And I'm not sure if you want to even talk about how it specifically it works with a certain situation like the urinary tract, but is that possible here with Power for Men?
Yes, a lot of these compounds, these plant biochemicals, are also known as phytonutrients.
Yes.
And along with the antioxidant, other nutrient factors that plants have, then they act as antimicrobials. And it's been found in, this is something that's so common among the plant kingdom. So much research has been done on the antimicrobial effects of these compounds. So every single plant that I have ever researched, including the ones in the formulations, have been found to have very effective antimicrobial effects. And I'm talking about antibacterial, antifungal, antiparasitic, and antiviral. They also have the compounds that will help detoxify and eliminate toxic chemicals. We pick up the synthetics in our environment, in our food, in the air, in the water, in our personal care products. So all of that can be accumulative in the organs and under the skin, and even in the cerebrospinal fluids that can affect brain functioning and nervous system functioning. So these plant chemicals will bind chemically to these synthetics and allow the body to eliminate them safely. So, everybody is carrying around these toxic chemicals. We cannot get away from them, right? So, and every generation has accumulated more and more. Newborns have been born with over 200 chemicals in them. And if a person nurses, then of course we're passing on some of that too. But nursing, by the way, is the best way to nourish your infant in spite of all of that, especially if your diet is full of these types of biochemical compounds that will help your body detoxify on a gradual daily basis. Your diet should be a daily gentle detoxification process as much as it is nourishing.
Still more great information. Now, here's a good one. I don't know how many of you out there love or like pomegranate, but I love it. And that's one of the ingredients that is in PWR Lemon. And what do you know about, I'm sure there's a book full of this, about pomegranate and what it does for men's health?
Yes, here it is right here. So as you can see, most of the studies that I looked at in developing this book are from peer-reviewed studies. So when you see the citation here, after some information that I provided here, a group of researchers led by Mr. Ismail back in 2012, and then also there's more research studies that I looked at that are led by Al Zareki, and here's another one by Mimiran. These names are strange. And then Mr. Nam, I remember him. So I picked up the peer-reviewed studies from various peer reviews, right? So here's a summary. And if anyone wants to take a look at some of these studies, you can certainly go to the back of the book that has all the scientific references. And there's either the URL or what's called the DOI reference number. And if you can copy and paste that into your search engine, it'll take you right to the study. And you can read all about the complexities of what these researchers are required to, the very rigorous, ways of coming to their scientific conclusions. And so it's quite a process. But there's usually an abstract at the beginning of the research study, and there's also a conclusion at the end that will indicate, that will be put in layperson's terms, relatively speaking. So you can at least tell what they are going to study and what they ended up concluding in the study. So that's more for the layperson. But the in-between part on these studies are just quite technical, so you have to understand the mathematics of it, and all these different ways that they measure all of their results. And they really go into detail as far as how they're going to be conducting the study and all the different types of tests that they conduct to arrive at their conclusion. So it's really quite involved. But just know that this summary is a result of many, many, many studies and that have they come to the same conclusion pretty much. Sometimes it's pretty redundant when I list this in these bullet points, form. But as you can see here, I mean, these botanicals have been known for their male enhancing power, the pomegranate seed, and they contain high vitamin E, which is known to help the libido as well. Polyunsaturated fatty acids. Those are the plant fats, the omega-3 plant fats that are so important for the right sets of hormones in the body, and so many other functions. So yes, they do a lot of other things too, because of the array of biochemical compounds that are found in these botanicals. So we're talking about 25,000 phytochemicals that have been found in edible foods in nature alone, and of course there's other non-edible foods out there that have other compounds too. But yeah, I mean, that's why I compiled a database of phytochemical compounds, so that people, if they see the compound listed here in the document or in the book, then they can look up that compound and those are also scientifically referenced as well, because sometimes scientists will go and extract some of these compounds from a particular plant and report on what that particular extract did for the body, or the result that they came up with. But so as you can see,
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. It's all right.
What I was going to say on that is APLGO, I believe, in fact, I know it is one of Ruth Main's really good friends, a doctor, a friend of hers, has done a lot of research on this as well. And he put together a peer-reviewed white paper, which are really important, these peer-reviewed pages, and it's in a medical journal. And we have that peer-reviewed white paper on Power for Men, along with 7 other of our drops. So this is fantastic information that there's even more to go look at. And I was kind of filtering through the back of your book here, and what you just said, yeah, they're all there. Page after, there must be 200 pages of all the reviews that can be read here. So I hope all of you, in fact, I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about your book here in just a minute, but go ahead and finish what you were saying about.
Well, I want to respond to the white papers. I have found that white papers are generally, I'm not saying all of them, but generally they're doctor reports on what they have found with the results of their patients, what they have applied and observed. And so they have documented it, and so when a lot of white papers are accumulated, then scientists will evaluate it. Scientists sometimes are looking for something to research, right, and to report on. So they gather sometimes these white papers and they say, well, there's a need for a research study. So a scientific study is generally different from a white paper. So when you have a white paper, then that you're the first step toward reaching a scientific conclusion that's credible, and that the study would be repeatable from many other scientists throughout the world in order to arrive at a very solid conclusion, So I feel pretty confident about the botanicals that I've researched, as you can see from all the different groups of scientists that have come to similar conclusions or added to the knowledge database in the world. And these are scientists from all over the world, from different university level research studies, which are pretty much the most credible because they're so rigorously evaluated and just reviewed, and looked upon, and so you have this cross-checking and balancing kind of atmosphere in the scientific community. So that's why peer-reviewed studies are the most credible type of information one can have. If you go on the internet and type in the search box, what you're looking for, if you don't type in science journal after your search phrase, you will come up with just a mixture of misinformation, incomplete information, unqualified information. But if you type in science journal after your search phrase or term, then you'll be it'll call up all of the scientific research that's ever been done on that particular subject that you want to learn about.
That's a very good note to take down. That's a real good hint.
Please do. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, look at all of these other things that this does. And again, it's a summary. You can imagine how much research and reading I've had to do to compile this summary of what it does. Like I said, it's got all these wonderful antioxidants that reduce the lipid peroxidation that damages the polyunsaturated fatty acids. Those are very reactive to oxygen. So, like linoleic acid and arachidonic acid. So these are very oxygen reactive fatty acids. So they have to be refrigerated. If you take in a whole food fat or an oil, make sure that you have it refrigerated and you are taking in more omega-3 fatty acids than omega-6s. And I can go over that if you'd like, but there's different types of fats in different types of foods that are better for you. Some are not that great, and some are okay if you balance them with the better fats kind of thing. So the studies here reflect that kind of research on these types of fatty acids. So they're neuroprotective. All of these compounds, in addition to the fatty acids, have neuroprotective effects against memory dysfunction and all sorts of other health ailments. So that's the pomegranate.
Wow. There's so much oh my gosh, we could go on for days. So
Yeah.
one of the other things
Yeah.
that I wanted to get across is that according, to our DNA rapid drops, is they're 100% all natural, non-synthetic molasses and beet sugar, citric acid, lemon for the natural flavor, curcumin for the coloring. See, everything about these is all natural, organic, beyond organic, I guess what you want to call it. The people ask almost every time, oh my gosh, they've got sugar in it. Well, how many times have we talked about this? The sugar is from, organic, from the bottom of the barrel, the molasses, which is the best part to get, and the beet sugar. Do you want to expand on that as well? Because people these days, they want to stay away from sugar, but you don't want to stay away from the good ones, right?
Let's do. Let me go to the beginning of the
Let's do
document
it.
here. Let's do it. So this is pretty much the table of contents. This is actually how the ebook looks online. You can order the print copy without all the links showing like that.
Great.
But yeah, so I'm going to jump to the natural product additives or other ingredients. So here are some links that go to the food, the colorants, the dyes, the natural colorants, food derived, and then the flavorings, of course, and then the sweeteners here, and then the one preservative, which the body produces, citric acid. It's part of the
Right.
energy production cycle in our cells. So citric acid is a great natural preservative. It's been used in the food industry for decades, but the sweeteners, yeah, so we jump to molasses here, and I went through this whole thing explaining why molasses is good. You just did a really good explanation about that. It's pretty safe for diabetics because of its high mineral content, which help regulate your blood sugar and nourish the pancreas functioning so that it produces the insulin that the body needs to secrete it into the bloodstream and take the excess sugar out of the bloodstream. So that whole functioning is very dependent on the nutrients that you give the body. And all the other compounds like phenolic compounds, antioxidants, kind of thing, all kinds of, they aid the immune system, anti-inflammatory agents. There's a whole lot more to molasses than meets the eye, and that's just
Right.
molasses, So yeah, it's the bottom of the barrel, like you said, where all the nutrients are concentrated. And so thank goodness that someone somewhere in history realized that it was a good food, right? Not just
Right.
the dregs in processing sugar. But so let's go into the non-GMO. Well, when I wrote the book, it was cane sugar from when I received the ingredients through corporate, but now I understand it's beet sugar.
Right.
But same molecule, it's sucrose. When the body breaks it all down, then you convert it to the glucose, which is the fundamental sugar molecule in the body, which the brain it functions on, and muscle and cellular activities are all fueled through the glucose. So sucrose is just one step away. Your body breaks it down to fructose and glucose. So it's really easy to break that down. It's when it's in high concentrations with the absence of the other augmenting minerals and vitamins in a food is when it becomes a problem for the pancreas to constantly produce that insulin. And pretty soon the body just ignores it, insulin resistance. And so it can't take that out and becomes very dangerous. A person can go into insulin shock with all this extra insulin in the blood, and it can't just take the sugar out of the bloodstream. So, we want to be very careful with what we give our bodies. You don't want to have only refined sugars, refined flour, refined grains, all these very simple carbohydrates that can be a real problem in the system. So yeah, sucrose is something that's not dangerous when you have so many other phytochemical compounds that help regulate blood sugar, which is what these compounds do in all of these botanicals. And plus the whole food botanicals, if you were to buy the whole food, then you'd have the fiber and the water, the high water content, and the combination, the synergy that helps attenuate how the body utilizes the sugar. Fruit sugars are the safest sugars you can ever eat. So there's no problem there. But the refined sugar does require that two-step process, and in large numbers can be very dangerous to your health. But with the healthy diet and with these other, wonderful compounds that are in the formulations, because, you know, when you look at the technology where the product is made, these huge vats contain the plant materials. And so, you know, creating the simulated electrical storm to add more electrons to the orbitals of the atoms of the molecules of these botanicals, you know, creates increases its antioxidant power. Plus, you still have these phytochemical compounds that are quite small molecules compared to vitamins and minerals. That's why, I suppose that's why the company didn't add these larger molecules to the formulations, because then they'd be like giant gumballs in our mouth,
Right.
kind of thing.
Right. They
Slight
wouldn't
exaggeration,
fit.
probably.
Right, they wouldn't fit. And I am so glad that you brought that part up about how these are synergistically put together with Acumullit SA technology. You know, we probably should have said that in the very beginning, but it's a good reason for people to listen to this all the way through. The Acumullit SA technology is mind-blowing. You know, it's a patented technology that we have only in this company. So I'm glad you brought that up. So these are organic as well, and we know they're safe. How many should one take a day? Are there rules to that?
I don't think you know, there are RDA measures in place for specific nutrients, but not the water soluble nutrients, and certainly not phytochemical compounds. There aren't even any FDA rules for how many phytochemical compounds you can put in your body. You know, these are very recognizable by human cells. They are readily accepted through the very distinguishing cell membranes when these nutrients arrive at the cell sites. So they're immediately allowed to go into the cell and do their nourishing and functional improving kind of work. Okay. So specifically
talking about the PWR Lemon, should a person take just one a day or two? I know I've spoken to you about this before when I was taking BTY because it was working so well, and I was taking like 5 or 6 a day, and you said, wait a minute, what? No, you don't need to do that. So 1, 2 a day, or just one, or for each individual person?
It won't hurt, because unless you're sensitive to the amount of sugar that can accumulate. But if you're eating a healthy diet and you're rinsing your mouth, you know, from all the accumulated sugar, which can create a lot of acid and wear down the tooth enamel if you're constantly have them in your mouth all day. But they're food, and they're micronutrient factors that are completely compatible with our bodies. Your body has, you know, multiple trillions of cellular needs that need nourishing and maintaining, detoxifying, you know, all these different systems in the body, including the immune system. All of that requires these kind of nutrient factors. So I don't think you can overdose on them. There's no, it's not like you're taking in the fat soluble vitamins like the vitamin A. You know, fish oil that contains a lot of vitamin A, those can accumulate in the liver and all of that. But these are plant compounds, anything that's plant derived, even the classification called carotenoids that our bodies convert to vitamin A as needed. So those don't even accumulate. Those are all water soluble as well. So, you know, what you don't need, you urinate out or sweat out or breathe out. You know, there's so many ways for the body to eliminate what it doesn't need. But I'm pretty sure that these very precious, you know, cellular components will be utilized to the maximum in the body.
See, you answered that exactly the way I was hoping you would, because we hear so many times about, are there rules to this? No. And the fact that it sits in your cell and delivers when it needs to be used is absolutely phenomenal. We've really got something special here, and I'm so glad that you're here to be able to talk so much about each one of these once a month. So would you have anything else that you want to bring up about Power for Men? Because I also want to give you an opportunity, we're running short on time here, to talk about your book.
Yeah, there's quite a bit, actually. There's so many great things about these botanicals, but basically this formulation, just like a lot of the other formulations, in fact, all of the formulations have the botanical compounds in them that will improve the immune system, help regulate and improve the functioning of all of our cells in every single body system. We're talking about the nervous system, you know, the digestive system, the detoxification channels, the lymph system, and you know, just all of these, the kidneys and the bowels, and like I said earlier, the lungs and the skin. The skin is also a detox organ. So, you know, just giving your body what it needs and allowing it to naturally rid itself of toxins on a daily basis, rather than going through these crazy detoxification, you know, protocols that some companies or some doctors sometimes do. I don't think not nourishing your body and depriving it of nutrients is a good way to eliminate toxins. So if we do this on a daily basis through our nutrition and through wonderful nutrients that work at the cellular level, like these formulations, then you'll be able to eliminate these toxins and just leave room. You know, after eliminating toxins on a daily basis, you don't accumulate them like someone who has a poor diet or doesn't have any great supplements to take. And if they're not taking, you know, all these wonderful nutrient factors, then, you know, they're going to have these problems of toxicity and sluggishness and poor circulation, you know, just these literally clogging things up in the system, which is what happens when someone is in an inflammatory state or has poor circulation, and results in all these different pain problems, you know, kind of thing. So, you know, being careful what I'm saying here, because you know, we're not making any medical claims. We're just stating how nutrients are very well known, as you can see in this book, that researchers have come to the conclusion that, yeah, plants have so much to offer for our bodies, including the detoxification and nourishment process to improve cell functioning.
Well, would you like to mention your book that I so graciously have in my hand right now? I love this, and where
Yes.
people can get a copy of this. And yes, folks, there's like 600 pages in here. It is an incredible book for you to have. I challenge anybody to read every single page in here, but I will tell you this, you will go down the rabbit hole. I have picked this up and read, and I find myself, oh my gosh, about the raspberries, everything else in here. So where can somebody get a hold of this?
Well, I have it featured on my website, holisticchoices.com. And when you get there, you can click on the link on the left that says Books by Mary Esther Gilbert. It'll take you to the page where all my books are listed. So just scroll down. The most recent books that I published, I just put at the bottom of the page, and just, you know, keep adding to it. I'm going to be producing 2 more books pretty soon. They're about ready to be published. I just have to finish editing them. And so, yeah, and there's going to be classes, you know, associated with every book that I've written, so that people really can do a deep dive into this learning process and really master your own health. That is why I called my school the True Health Mastery Academy, because I just feel like humanity needs to improve their health, improve their functioning, including improving their cognitive functions, nourishing the nervous system, balancing their hormones, detoxification, you know, really optimizing their body's energy at the cellular level. And there's a lot of research in that too that I'll be proving, you know, and displaying all the research that's been done in that field alone. That's a whole nother tangent, and that's something that I've discovered, something I've really have observed in my clients in the last 45 years, how they transform their lives. Their perceptions are different, you know, they're more alert, and they're more alive, they're more awake. They're so many different things happen when a person is healthy versus one who is ill, you know. Yeah. So I've seen this transformation in clients for forever. But yeah, so this is that's pretty much how you can find my book, and it leads you actually to the Amazon website. But and if you do a search, you know, either on Amazon or even on YouTube, I've got some educational videos on nutrition there. Or if you go to just the Google search box and type my name in, all my work comes up. I've been around for a long time. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm not hard to find.
No, you're not. And it was very special. I felt really honored when I first started with the company here and we learned about you, and I found you on Facebook and sent you a message, and I was just shocked that you answered it, replied with such, grace and nice answers. And you said, anytime, you're there to help us anytime. So you guys, I'm not telling you inundate Mary Esther Gilbert with a bunch of questions on Facebook, but she's just been so gracious to give us her time to write these books, to let us know that we have an amazing product right here in our hands, and we just need to get out there and share it. So Mary Esther, I just want to thank you so very much for your time, your expertise tonight, and on these amazing drops. And just so you know, everybody, you can actually go, thank you for putting that up there. You can go in your back office right now and you can do the buy two, get two free Power Lemon for men. Well, okay, I don't want to say for men anymore. I just want to say Power Lemon. And that's available for you right now in your back office. So should I hand this on over to Esther or Rick? Do you want to close this out for the night? Thank you so much again, Mary Esther Gilbert.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Sherry, and thank you, Mary Esther. That was great. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Sherry, for
Thank
being
you.
our host tonight. And thanks, everybody. We have these calls once a month with Mary Esther, and they're so informative. And we actually am starting to put them in the back office now at the bottom of the page. So, Esther, do you have the ability to unmute everyone, or can everyone unmute?
Yeah,
I don't
everyone
have
should be able to
that.
unmute.
What's that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Everybody can unmute.
Well, this is
yeah.
our new tradition, you guys. We got to do it now. At the end of our calls, we all say goodbye to each other and where we're from, and make some noise to put on the recordings. Just jazz things
Bye,
up a little bit.
everybody
So
from
thanks for being
Alaska.
here, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys from
Bye.
Florida.
Bye.
Have a
Bye,
good night.
everybody. Bring a ram from
Woo-hoo.
It was nice
you.
meeting you all.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Good night.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Esther. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Maria.
you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Love it.
See y'all.
Thanks, Sherry. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, back to work.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Mary.
Bye,
Thanks, Mary Esther.
Bye-bye.